Hello, I am going to show you how to draw a vine and leaf scroll. This is aimed at the beginner who may not draw very much. I'm going to break things down into some simple steps. I am drawing with a Micron pen, but you can use whichever pen you are comfortable with. This does have the advantage of being waterproof and archival. So I'm starting with my piece of paper, and I am going to mostly be using variations of S's as in Sierra and C as in Charlie. So I'm going to start in my corner. Now, often you want to measure out your margins. I would suggest a 1/2 inch to 1 inch margin around the paper. And I am going to draw a big S in my bottom corner. And then if I want to make this curlier, I'm going to take on the end of this S, I'm going to draw an upside down C. And that makes my little curly Q. And then I'm going to do that on the other end. And then for the next one, I'm going to start a little bit higher up, and I'm going to do 1/2 an S that I want to have meet up here. So I'm doing 1/2 an S, and I'm going to do my little C on there. Now you can also start from the bottom and go up, and it can kind of be a C motion too. So this one's going to be more, a little bit of a C. So I have that. And then I'm going to do my other little C to meet up there. And then I can draw another S. And I want to have the bottom kind of meet there. So I didn't quite do a full S, but then I'm going to go off to the side here and do a little C that meets up with it. And I can do the C up here to meet up with the beginning of my S. And so you have the start of your vines. I always draw my vines and then I do my leaves afterwards. So then going to the other side, I'm going to draw another S at the bottom. And these do not need to be symmetrical. They do not need to match up all the way. So then I'm going to do my C on the ends of my S's. And I'm going to do a partial S. I'm going to do a little C on the end there. Do a little C to complete my S. I'm going to do a backwards C. And then or kind of the little curve, and I'm going to go up and I'm going to do the same of doing kind of a partial S/C type thing. And then I see. I'm going to start up here and do a partial S and C. And so there we have two sides. Now you can always do something on the tops and the bottom. And one thing I could do on the bottom with the space I have is I'm going to make an S. Now, if you're not comfortable drawing it from a different angle, you can always rotate your paper and draw a big S and then do the C's. You can do that on the other side as well. Draw big S and your C's. And there you have your vines to start everything out with. Now, with the leaves, there are different ways to do it. Now, one way that I show how to make leaves, if you're just starting out and you're not comfortable drawing them straight out. Now, this part I would do with a pencil, but I'm using a pen because it's easier to see on the camera. And to start out, I'm going to make a small cross. Now, with these leaves, with the ivy, there are different ways to do it. One way that is fairly common that you see kind of looks like it's 3 diamonds that make up the leaves. So I am going to draw a diamond. And then on the next arm, I'm going to draw another one of a diamond or kite shape, however you want to look at it. And then on the third arm, we do the same. Now, if you had a pencil, then you would erase those lines on the inside. And then on the bottom, you make a W. And that's one way to do it. Another way is kind of a softer way. So the leaves are kind of like little ovals, but not quite. So here, 2 different shapes. Now, if I was drawing without the cross, I have my diamond. And I have my next diamond. And next, you have your little W. Now, sometimes you'll see some that will also have little curly shapes going off the ends of each of the leaves on theirs. So it depends on what you want to do with that. So I'm going to start adding in a leaf. So I'm going to start with my tip right here. Or starting with my first ivy. So I am going to do the curvy shape. And this is something you want to just practice a lot with how you're putting it in there. And so I want to put another leaf from after. So I'm going to make another little line. The vine work here is just the basis. We're going to add some things to it. So I'm going to make a little slight curved C there. And then I'm going to make another leaf. And then I'm going to do a straight line coming out the middle of those 2. And I'm going to make another leaf. So there. And then you can add little leaves off of this that you just make a little slightly curved line and then make a teardrop. So a little curve and teardrop. And you can go around the whole scroll and adding things in, starting with going off of each of your little curve points and adding leaves off of it. Now you can also make lines off of other places in the shapes, such as here. And I'll draw my little leaf. And then you can leave these solid like this, or there's other little lines that you can add in that you'll see in different scrolls. One way to do it is just to make like a little, like an N or a little squiggly line. So you can just kind of do like a lightning bolt type line right here. And just do some little squigglies. You can also do it where it's a little curve. So you can just do like a little, like you're doing part of your S or your C, and just make a little tiny loop thing. You just want to be consistent though, that you don't mix the curves and the squigglies so that one S would only have your whole scroll would either you're doing the squiggly ones or the curved ones, or you're doing the squigglies like that. And that's the basis of getting started with doing a vine and leaf scroll. I'm going to show an example of drawing one of the other type of leaves on here, so you see that as well. Okay, so I'm going to do the diamond shape. So it's made up of 3 diamonds. And so you have that on there. So you can add the little lines coming off of it. Now, sometimes also you'll see on these vine leaf scrolls periodically, they might have a little thing that looks like this. It's just a little circle with your 2 things coming off of it, a little antennae. And those would just be periodically placed on there. Like that. So that's how you get started with a vine and leaf scroll.